Awesome. Welcome, everybody. I'm Dr. Isaac Holladay, owner of Lodestar Physical Therapy. I'm here with my friend Angela. She is a certified personal trainer who opened Alloy 4 years ago. She loves working with people and improving their functional strength, their balance, mobility, and nutrition. And working with people to improve their quality of life is her passion in life. How are you? Welcome. First, welcome. Thanks for being on. And yeah, tell everyone about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Isaac. I'm excited to be here. Not only do I appreciate you, Isaac, and your team and what you do for people in our community, but I also am, like you said, very passionate about trying to get the word out how important it is to build, maintain functional strength, especially as we age. And I just want to say that that doesn't mean functional strength doesn't mean it's a geriatric program. It can be, or it can be also for, any age essentially. But it is so important to maintain or to retain, or, maintain, retain, regain your quality of life. And so that's where my passion is kind of breaking down that intimidation factor and showing anybody who has the initiative that they can do strength training as well, and it will benefit them throughout their life.
Yeah, yeah, 100% agree with that. And I mean, you haven't been a personal trainer for your whole life either. So like you kind of got into it later in the game as well, right? What were you doing
Yeah, yeah, kind of an
before
interesting
this?
story. So I was in the corporate world for probably 25 years, corporate tech specifically. Um, but I've always thought it was important to take care of myself, both nutritionally and staying active. Not a perfectionist by any means, not hardcore, but just it's important, right? If you want to feel good, move well, keep participating in life. And so I'd always worked out. When my kids were young, it was maybe once a week. When they got a little older, it was twice a week, then three times a week. And I think I was just fortunate enough when I was probably 40 to start training with a gym that was close to my house. And literally, I did it because I could walk there. It was 45-minute training. I could run home, take a shower, get my kids off to school because my husband works early. So I think it was just fortunate enough that 40-ish, I started strength training. I'd done other things, but I just kind of eventually noticed not only my body changing, but kind of looking around at friends, family, and watching people struggle with things that I just take for granted. I had a friend that said, "Oh, we're going to Disneyland and that walking is so hard." And I thought, Disneyland's taxing, but I've never thought about walking being hard. Thank
Yeah,
goodness, right? And so it was just in my heart, kind of in my soul that this is so important. And like I said, you don't have to be a perfectionist, but you have to get after it if you want to preserve or maintain your quality of life. And so maybe years ago, I was telling my husband, I said, "Oh, when I retire from this corporate tech, this is what I want to do." And I probably said it so many times. He's like, "All right, let's talk about it." Um, and our family was in ages where, it was something we could consider. And so I just did my research and I knew kind of what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to make sure it was strength training. I really like a small group model, which we can talk about. Um, and I wanted to make it accessible, meaning I don't want to go to a large gym where, you're waiting for equipment. And I just want to kind of lower that barrier to entry. And so I did a lot of research, I knew a fair amount about, physical fitness and kind of what I was after, what I think matters, but I knew I needed a mentor. And so I kind of thought about, okay, who could I have as a mentor starting this new business, learning not only the business, but the fitness side as a coach, not just a client. Um, then I decided, oh, you know what? Maybe there's a franchise model out there that would kind of serve as my mentor, have a model in place. So I started doing research, looked at a bunch, spoke with quite a few, franchisors, landed on the Alloy model, because they're love, love, love the training model and got the business mentorship that I needed. Um, so that's kind of how I ended up with a franchise. It's been an awesome partnership. I was early on in their franchise process, so we both kind of learned from each other as we kind of vetted some things and
yeah.
evolved processes.
The growing pains of
Exactly.
figuring
Lots of
it all
those.
out.
Yes. Um, and I guess the last thing I would say is super grateful I landed where I landed. Not to say it was easy, But when people come train with my team or I don't even want them to think about it being a franchise. I want them to think we're ready for you. We care about you. We're going to tailor it. We have this great community. But the workouts we're doing, the programming, the modifications we're doing have a ton of experience behind them and are very deliberate about why we're doing what we're doing, the movement patterns and
Yeah.
balance challenges and things that we're doing.
Yeah, I love that. Let's talk about what you do and how you do it. Because we've actually treated a few of your clients as well here. And it's kind of nice just to be like, hey, cool. You're taken care of when you're with Angela's team over at Alloy. And it's just nice. But yeah, you guys do, it's not like, hey, we show up and we all lift heavy weights all the time or whatever. But it's also not like, hey, it's a Zumba class, you know?
Right. You're exactly right.
So
You're
yeah, so yeah, just describe like someone's like they come into the door, what are they gonna experience and do from the moment they walk in?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll start out with, so we don't just say, hey, yeah, sign up, let's start your training. So I spend a fair amount of time with every potential client going through what we call a starting point session. And so our model is small group personal training. And a lot of times people are like, oh, it's a class. Well, there are multiple people working out, but the last thing I want it to be is a class. What I want it to be is small group personal training. So I want to get to know you, your body, your experience, strength training, your limitations, surgeries, things that hurt, all those things. And I also want to know your goals and, look at your body composition. So we do a pretty thorough, really thorough assessment at the beginning, including I look at your mobility. If you have an injury or limitation, I want to do some look at that and just see how it may impact your movements, how we may modify. So it's definitely not a hey, sign up, jump in. I want to make sure that when you come in, so all of our workouts are by appointment. We train no more than 6 people at a time. So when you come in, my trainers and I are ready for, oh, hey, Isaac, you're coming in today at 9. I know you have a bad shoulder. When we met, overhead just doesn't agree with you, or whatever it may be. And so depending on the day's workout, we have the workout written for the day, it's full body. We're going to modify it for you. So when you come in and be like, hey, Isaac, these are the two exercises we're working on at this point. I want you to do this one this way and this one this way. Now, there may be somebody beside you that's also working on that superset, but we're going to be like, and for you, Nancy, you're going to do it this way and this way. And I want you to do X reps and sets. And then we just kind of go around the room and do that. And so it truly is, you get coached every time. You're going to get modifications that are appropriate to you, the weights that are appropriate for you. We're going to correct your form. We're going to, just so you're sharing the trainer's time with up to 5 other people, but you're going to get coached every single time.
Awesome, cool. And how and how long are your typical workouts?
Yeah, so they're just under an hour. And
Oh,
like I said, they're full body. So people ask me like, "Oh, do I need to work out with somebody who's a similar ability to me or, a certain time frame or whatever?" And I say, "No, the most important thing is just that you can get there.
yeah.
You can have 2 mornings and an evening, you can have whatever, you can be the youngest, you can be the oldest, whatever. Um, it just the most important thing is show up and we will totally take care of you and coach you every single time, including we're going to make sure you're progressing. That's why it's not a class. It's like, hey, I saw you did 15s pretty easily. Let's bump you up to 17 and a half because you're ready for that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I love that right, everyone gets that attention, right? That you don't get at, we won't mention their names, but a big box gym.
Mhm. Exactly right. And quite
Uh,
honestly, sorry to
yeah.
interrupt you.
Oh
And
no,
quite
no, I'm
honestly,
just cracking myself up. That's all.
I like it. And quite honestly, people feel a little intimidated about the group, that there's 5 other people. But everybody is there for the same reason. And I always joke, I'm like, we're not 20-year-olds in crop tops. Like we are there to strengthen and move better. And we have the most supportive, encouraging community. And people genuinely love meeting up with their group and kind of catching up as they work out. And so it's the whole community aspect of it to me is a lot more enjoyable than a music blaring class of 30 or a one-on-one where I'm kind of like trying to make small talk in between movements. So
Right,
the whole
right.
social side of it to me is ideal as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love it. And then describe the workouts, right? Because it's like full body, right? What are the exercises meant to do? What is the goal of Alloy? And I know you've mentioned functional strength training, so kind of going a little bit more about that. I think a lot of people have different ideas of what functional strength training is, and some of them are correct and some are not.
Right, right. I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
So I would say when we say strength training, it basically means resistance, right? You're doing exercise with some sort of resistance. So it could be your body weight, it could be a band, it could be a weight, right? And so basically what we're doing, and we're going to do it appropriate to what your ability is. So with functional strength training, we're not working isolated big muscles. Like for me to say, hey, Isaac, show me how much you can bicep curl 10 times, or show me how much you can bench press for 3 times. That just really doesn't, it's better than nothing for sure, but it doesn't get you functionally strong. Like, how often do you do this bicep curl movement in daily life? Like,
When you grab the groceries.
well, you're still squatting and you're
Maybe.
twisting and you're, yeah, right?
When you're holding the groceries
Hold it, okay.
after you've picked them up.
No, 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 Isaac, that's a farmer's carry.
That's true. I don't know anyone that holds their
You
groceries
must
like
do this.
that.
Um, so functional strength training are very deliberate movement patterns. And again, not to make that sound geriatric, because we're still having resistance, we're still challenging our body, it'll still get sweaty, but they're very deliberate, kind of full body complex movement patterns. So in Isaac's example, picking up groceries, literally, you're going to bend over, you're going to grab weight, you need to have your strong core, you need to how to use your legs to pick something up, right? Or if you're working in your garden or whatever it is. And so we don't do muscle isolations, we do complex movements that involve multiple, I mean, your muscles and your connective tissue, right? Really challenging it in a very controlled way. So in your life, when you go to lift a big thing of dog food, or you go to change a spare tire, or garden or play pickleball, and you're moving quickly, whatever it is, we're preparing your body for those movements that you're going to use in everyday life.
Yeah, yeah, I love that because I mean, even with physical therapy, like we, at least here at Lodestar, we look at right when someone just gets injured, yeah, we it is they're limited, right, into those unilateral planes like a bicep curl or your leg extension. You're just kicking your leg, right?
Mhm.
But before they leave a PT realm, like we have to be able to say, hey, you want to play pickleball, you want to hike, you want to run, you want to play soccer, right? Whatever their goal is, usually involves more than one plane of motion, right? And so you have to combine those motions and start training it, which is functional training, right? Is getting them used to their activity. Which is kind of nice that I know you because when we're done here, right, and people are like, "Hey, I want to keep working and working out and doing this type of stuff," it's like easy transition to be like, "Hey, you still can," right, and send you to you guys. It's a good little, um, I guess, pass off or continuation
Yeah,
of that. So
next up. Yep, you're
yeah,
exactly.
getting multiple planes in your workouts. If you're not doing that, people, go do it.
You said that better than I did. That's what I meant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But no, it is true. Like, I mean, I think, a lot of people, and I've met a lot of people who that come see me and they're like, hey, my shoulder hurts, right? And their workouts are nothing but bench, right? It's bench and it's a press or a pull, and it's just very one-dimensional. And you're like, well, how did you do it? And it's usually like, oh, I was throwing something into the back of my truck,
Mhm.
right? You're like, ah,
Yep.
you don't ever train this motion,
Yeah.
or something like that. And which is what you guys do, right? You train those motions that are functional, right? It's what we do in our everyday lives and patterns and everything like that.
Yep, you're spot on. And also included kind of inherently in good quality functional strength training is your working mobility, right? So your joints move as well as they can, because you want to build strength on top of well-moving joints. We work balance inherently. So we do some split stance or different things, because Not only does balance get harder to maintain as we get older, but same thing. You're throwing load around, you're throwing weight. Not only do you need good balance, but core stability is absolutely key.
Yeah.
Um, if I may tell you just a little bit about core stability.
Go for it. Absolutely.
So, core stability is one of the things that Alloy's functional strength training programs does extremely well. And when I say core stability, a lot of people think core, I need a stronger core. A lot of people think abs, right? And they think the old sit-ups and crunches. I mean, you can testify core is your whole midsection, right? All the way around your low back and your, I mean, a lot more goes into it, but you want a solid, stable core ultimately so you don't hurt your spine, right? So you have a healthy spine. And so we work a ton of core stability inherent in the workouts just to make sure that when you have that load or you're challenged or you have a situation that you absolutely have that strong core to do the movements that you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your favorite go-to exercise for core?
A bunch.
The one that you're like, man, if everyone could do this for 20 minutes straight. I don't know.
Honestly, to keep it simple, I
Yeah.
think a proper plank, and then you can
Yeah.
all do, variations, but a plank where your back isn't going into extension. So
Mhm.
you have that nice solid back, super engaged core, your butt's not in the air, but your low back isn't sagging. Any variation of that, or might not be as familiar, but a plank, I mean, a bear hold,
Yeah.
so you kind
Yep.
of bend your knees. And I mean, that's just so easy with no equipment. Keep timing yourself. You can definitely see that you've made progress. So any sort
Uh-huh.
of variation like that, and there's a million variations of bird dog, any sort of thing
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Any plank type thing done correctly is so beneficial.
That's awesome. That's great. And I love that you also like you incorporate the balance part in there. Because, as you said, like people it's never how did you word like you're never too I don't know, like working out, you don't have to be young. You don't have to be experienced, right? It could be any age at all, right? And you take you where you're at. And I think, especially as we age, our balance uh goes away. As you're aware. So
And one
how do you test like when someone comes in, what do you run them through, test them through to say, hey, cool, this is where you're at, right? When we do balance things, this is what we're going to work on, things like that within the variations of your workouts.
Yeah, so we kind of start, like I said, a lot of discussion and understanding their body and sort of what it's been through, including experience. But then when I look at overall mobility, we use a modified functional movement screen. I'm sure you're very familiar. So there's a very detailed series of analysis that you can do to understand how people are moving, and kind of where they're likely to get injured. So ours is at a higher level, but we still want to know the basics of when I ask you to do an overhead squat, do your ankles work as they should? Do your knees work as they should? Do your
Mhm.
hips work as they should? And I can tell a lot from that overhead squat. And then if I see something, knees caving in, the knee valgus, or I see they sit to one side, or I see they're just unsteady, that tells me, okay, these are the things that we need to work on. If I see their ankles are so, I'll do a little further analysis and then I'm like, oh, your knees actually work well, your ankles are super tight. Then I'll put
Yeah.
notes to my trainers like, hey, focus on improving ankle mobility during their workouts. And so it really is a understanding and then meet you where you are. So trying to not only do what's right for the person, and I don't want anybody injured, I want them to make progress, but I also just really want to emphasize like, don't be intimidated to come in. Don't be intimidated to
Mhm.
give it a try because, I mean, I have clients in their 20s play high school soccer that get a super good workout. I have an 87-year-old client who we modify for her. She comes twice a week, every week, and is so grateful she does because she's still traveling and still able. So, as far as there's no judgment, there's no, just we'll meet you where you are, but we'll also keep you progressing. So that's where the coaching is invaluable.
Yeah, I love it. How many trainers do you got there?
I have four.
Four.
Yeah,
Nice.
have an awesome
Awesome.
team.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. And they've been there with you for a while, haven't they?
Yeah, yeah, years.
Yeah. You're like, of course, they love us. They
That's
love
right. That's right. And they love our clients,
it.
including your mom that
Yeah, yeah,
we get to train.
she is she is awesome. And she loves you guys. Yeah, she loves you guys. Like you can tell sometimes she'll just be like, "Ah, they worked me out too much." And then be like, I'm too sore. I'm like, they didn't work you out too much, Mom.
Yeah,
They worked you out just right.
that's right. That's
You'll
what we're
feel
trying to
better.
do. Just right.
You'll feel better tomorrow.
She's
I love it. Well, cool. Well, this is just so fun. So fun. Thanks for coming on. How can people get a hold of you guys if they want to come work out with you guys or just come try it and see what's going on?
Yeah, yeah, I would absolutely love that just to show people what we do because it's awesome. It's what we all need.
Yeah.
So, I own the Alloy personal training location in Holladay. So, kind of on the corner of Highland Drive and Murray Holladay Road, 1769 East Murray Holladay Road, in the same shopping center as Sprouts, if that resonates with people. You can reach me at 385-399-6998. And again, it's the Holladay location. And I'm just, if you reach out, if you text, you can text me or call me at that number. If you reach out and say, "Hey, saw you on Isaac's show, want to come check it out," I will not high pressure. I love what we do. I think everybody should be doing it. I love to have people come in when we have a workout going on because often that sort of changes people's intimidation when they see like, "Oh, I could do that," or "Oh, she's doing that," or "He's doing that." And so I absolutely love showing off what we do. So please reach out.
Awesome. And what are your hours? I know every gym is always like way different hours. What hours are you guys open?
Yeah, so we start at 6 a.m. We finish our morning at 1 p.m. and then we come back in the afternoon, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Friday. And then we are open a half day Saturday. So Saturday morning, 7 to noon. And so, yeah, definitely reach out and I will find a time to meet you and kind of show you around.
Awesome. Cool. Go check them out, everybody. You'll love them. Alloy is so cool. They are so fun. And it's such a great place. So anyway, thanks for coming on. Did you have anything else you that we didn't touch on that you're like, oh yeah, that's right. I need to tell everybody about this.
I don't think so. I just
Okay,
appreciate
cool.
the chance to share the info and
Awesome.
hope to meet some of your clients and followers.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope you do. Anyway, thanks for coming on, and maybe we'll do this again in some other future.
Sounds great. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
cool.